Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here with a Power Rangers Dino Fury theory video. So, I was actually working on another theory video about Ryusoul Brown, which will be coming out soon, but I kind of got derailed on this one point that I realized should probably be its own video because it was kind of beside the point of that video. So this theory video is going to be about how the Void Knight armor might be tied to the future Max Ryusoul Red power-up. So, before we get started, well actually first before we get started, I want to remind you guys to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe and ring that bell to get more notifications for videos like this and more. Also, before we get started, let me lay the groundwork to explain sort of the basis of this theory. So, spoiler alert for Ryusoul, but the Void Knight aka Geysorg suit is very tied to the Max Ryusoul Red power-up in that show. Basically in Void Knight's arc, or Geysorg's arc, when he sacrifices himself, that leads to him getting that armor. So it's basically directly tied to it. So that's part one of why this theory is happening. And part two is because this armor, other than the fact that we in the meta audience know about it from Ryusoul, was shown extremely early in the show. It was shown in the first trailer. It was shown in the first or second episode of the show when they showed the flashbacks of like the powers and armor the Morphin Masters gave them, and they show an armor look of all of the armors, and the Max Ryusoul Red is right there. And don't worry, this is not a Morphin Masters theory video. They're only going to be mentioned in that context, in the sense that they gave them those powers. So the bottom line is it appears that Zato had that armor way back when. Now, it's certainly possible, you know, Power Rangers has been known for this before, that it was sort of an editing mistake, and when we get the armor, it'll be introduced like it's something totally brand new. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to assume that it's something he had once before. So that leads to my theory. So I kind of have a couple different ideas about this, but this first one could be that much like in Ryusoul, that Void Knight's armor is going to be the key to him getting that power back. And something else we know that is key to this is that Zato recognizes the armor. He said, "Where did you get that armor?" And this is being recorded before episodes 9 through 11 come out, so this is based off of my knowledge of episodes 1 through 8, which have currently aired as of this timeline. So he recognizes the armor, but we don't know why. He hasn't elaborated on it. So I wonder if it's possible if that Void Knight armor is just straight up the Max Ryusoul Red armor, and it just looks different depending on the user, meaning that it just looks purple and silver because of who's wearing it, but if Zato puts it on his Ranger suit, it's going to look like it does, because you can see the visual similarities, and maybe he knows that it changes form, sort of, so it's just straight up the same armor on a different person. So when Void Knight is defeated in whatever form that takes, he'll be able to take back the armor and just have it. It's also possible that it's not tied to it, like I said, and they forgot that they put the footage in there of that armor and didn't mean to, and they somehow like transform the Void Knight armor into this armor. That kind of stuff happens on Power Rangers all the time, but Zato definitely recognizes it, and we definitely have a similar armor. It's also possible that despite the visual similarities, that they won't be connected at all. You know, Void Knight could still get a redemption story and fight along the team, and we could get the Max Ryusoul Red armor back, and he has another way of getting that back, and they're not tied together visually, and Zato recognizes it for another reason. That's certainly possible as well. But given that they're so tied together in Ryusoul, I thought it was more than possible that that was the original armor and it just looks different on him. Now, for me personally, I kind of don't want that specifically to happen, where the Void Knight armor will disappear and then become Max Ryusoul Red. I would kind of much rather have it be that it's part of a set. So you'll have the Void Knight armor, you have the Max Ryusoul Red armor, you have the Ryusoul Brown armor, maybe more if we were to do original stuff, probably not. But the point is that they're part of a set of armors. I don't know whether they would have been tied to the Ranger powers like the Void Knight ones, or they predate the Ranger powers somehow, or both. But the point is that they're all part of a set and exist at the same time. And Zato and some of the other Rangers had those armors back in the day, and that's why he recognizes it. But then it allows us to potentially have a redeemed Void Knight and a Ryusoul Brown and a Max Ryusoul Red on the team at the same time, or working together at the same time, and we don't have to take away from the Void Knight suit still existing after we get the power-up. What do you guys think? Do you think the Max Ryusoul Red armor is just going to be the Void Knight armor, just taking on a different form because of who's using it, or do you think it's part of a similar set, or do you think it will be completely unrelated? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.